Full-fledged war with Pakistan today, can we sustain that dominance over Pakistan with our present artillery? As a commander of the Chinar Corps, Pakistan is standing with their armor right at the LOC, at our hinterland and the border. Is this the new era of modern warfare, whether India should be there or should not be there?
My view is it should be there. 1990 का जो हमारा जम्मू कश्मीर का प्रॉब्लम था नहीं होता। मैं कभी नहीं चाहूंगा कि मेरे को पॉलिटिकल लीडरशिप मुझको ये बताए अब गोली खोलो, अब गोली मत खोलो, वो उसका काम नहीं है।
बांग्लादेश की साइड से प्रॉब्लम्स आने वाली हैं। Is India getting ready for the future to stand on its own alone?
मैं हमेशा एक लाइन बोलता हूँ, विकसित भारत के साथ में अगर सुरक्षित भारत नहीं है ना तो विकसित नहीं हो सकता। 1970 में जब बांग्लादेश बना तो जो वहाँ की जमात थी, जो रेडिकल थे, वो कहते हमारी औरतों के साथ में कर लो, हमारे को मार दो, हमें कोड़े मकोड़े पे रख लो, बट हमको पाकिस्तान से रहना है, हमको धर्म के साथ रहना है। सारे बंदे जो कश्मीर के अंदर धर्म के नाम पे पाठ पढ़ाते हैं, नानी के बच्चे से लेकर के CS सलाउद्दीन के बच्चे से लेकर सब पढ़ रहे हैं, डॉक्टर बन रहे हैं, इंजीनियर बन रहे हैं, बट जो उड़ रहा है वो आप पूछो कौन।
कश्मीर की सॉलिडारिटी डे सेलिब्रेट करा गया था। LET के कमांडर नकवी ने एक स्टेटमेंट दी थी कि वो अखंड भारत के खंड खंड कर देगा।
जो वो कह रहा है कोई गलत तो नहीं कह रहा है।
Both the army and CRPF work together. Specifically talking about JNK sir.
मेरा बेटा जो है एक पोस्ट पे था जम्मू कश्मीर के अंदर, 11 महीने के बाद में वहां से निकला, दूसरी बार घुसा।
अग्निवीर, is it a right decision or a strategic gambles?
1971 से पहले सिर्फ 7 साल की नौकरी होती थी जवान की। मोस्ट मॉडर्न फोर्स, मिलिट्री फोर्स कहाँ की है? पूरे देश के सभी युवाओं को फौज के अंदर एक बार नौकरी जरूर करनी चाहिए। कंस्ट्रक्शन तो नहीं होगा, बट सब बोलते हैं ना, आप कहीं बाहर चले जाओ सर, हर एक आदमी को बोलते हैं ना फौज के अंदर नौकरी होनी चाहिए, बोलते ही नहीं बोलते।
Let's do a deep dive directly right from the very first question of our podcast episode, sir. Sir, you have spent almost 4 decades in the service, sir. If I may ask you very bluntly, sir, what separates a lieutenant general from a full general or a chief of the army staff? Is it purely merit or the operational brilliance, or is it that the timing or political comfort or your peer perception also do play a role?
At least till our batch, it was just about age.
Really, sir?
So once you become a lieutenant general, which is by selection, in which you have a board, as you're aware that Army or Air Force or Naval journey is not only about hard work, it is all about process of giving examination, doing courses, carrying out operational duties, the tenures which you have, and eventually, most importantly, I think this is the only service where a very diligent ACR system, annual confidential report system is there, in which about 3 levels up observe, comment upon you, and those reports become the entire thing gets quantified and checked up. So at each level, starting from your days of when you join academy in Win, you are at the testing ground. So if you
as
don't,
a perfectionist,
so you need to continue to perform till the rank of a lieutenant general. And
but then the gap between lieutenant general and general is very, very less. It's too thin.
So
gap.
therefore, there is no selection for it. It actually happens that at least in our organization, the fact remains that the senior most at that time, that point of time, takes over the rank of a general or a army commander or equivalent of army commander.
Since you mentioned that till during your timelines, it was basically based on the criteria of the time that you spent, your seniority. However, in these times after you retired, sir, you see there is something.
No. I believe there is a new thing which is coming up, and which is even the lieutenant generals are going to be assessed, and thereafter the merit will be drawn for becoming an army commander.
So you mean to say, sir, that the top selection criteria is not influenced by the political gamuts?
No, I don't think so. Because the number one gentleman of at that point of time, like General Naravne, was the senior most in terms of IC number and age, this thing. So, if I become a lieutenant general and the vacancy for the chief is coming up at a particular time, at that point of time, who's the gentleman with minimum 18 months or a residual service when the name is forwarded and the previous chief is retiring, based on that, the seniority principle is taken. Only the case, an exception was done in case of General Rawat. Because, and again, it is not political consideration. I believe there were certain issues which were brought forth to the Cabinet Committee of Security, which takes the final call, Appointments Committee. And they must have taken some inputs and thereafter taken a decision. But I'm quite sure because I was there somewhere around to understand what was going on. It was not a political gimmick. And thereafter, if you see, the next set of 3 generals have been appointed as per the seniority principle.
So, for the benefit of my audience, is there any truth in this belief that the top commanders who've been, doing exceedingly well in their career, right from their entry in the forces, usme they don't make it to the top, but the safer choices have a better chance? When I say safer, I guess you understand the underlining
I understand.
meaning.
Look, frankly, you may become safe at that point of time.
Yes.
Right. But the fact is that you have risen to that rank.
Yes, sir.
After having taken risk of your life and decision-making overall period. So there always remains, and I don't have to talk about others.
Yeah.
If you read this book called Soldiering with Passion, which is written about me, I have taken a risk of life, risk of tactical decision, risk of operation, strategic decisions, wherever I've gone. So if I had to put in the flag on Lal Chowk or put a national symbol wave in Jammu in Kashmir Valley as a corps commander, I didn't have to take a permission from the government of India or from the political dispensation or from my subordinate or my superiors in Udhampur or anywhere. So those were my decisions which are taken, and people have to understand that when you rise to that rank, right, you have been trained over a period of time. You go through series of courses and tests and challenges that you reach there, right? So my batch, which was, let's say, 1985 batch, we had 12 officers who were, or rather 9 officers who were selected for command and staff.
Right, sir.
Now in that 9, they're saying in case the merit which is drawn in that board, right, that merit, if number 1 chap and last guy out of those 9, you can well imagine the differences are hardly any.
Sir, it's way in decimals.
In decimals.
3 levels.
So you imagine 7 lakh people appear for NDA or a CTS examination or this thing. From there, you select only 300. And then in a year's batch of about 1,000, 1,500 less for army, only 9 have made it to command and staff. So that's the kind of a squeeze. Now, how much difference is there in terms of, and we carry out checks from NDA, merit, everything adds to that level, right? So there is a consistency in play. There's a play of tenacity, everything. So there's hardly any difference. Now, the choice can be, you can have another board, you can carry out more checks, you can carry out more stringent political oversight, diplomatic oversight, or whatever. But the fact remains that, and look, I have not made it. I may be the number 1, number 2, number 3 in the merit. I don't know. These are all classified things. I can always presume and I can always castigate the entire system.
True,
but
sir.
I'm quite sure of this thing. The system has been
generally
resilient.
when we don't make it.
Generally when we don't. And if I had not made it, even as a lieutenant colonel to colonel, I can assure you I would not have a grouse. Because let me give an example. Like in all other organizations, there may be a 50% good chap and a bad chap making it.
Yes.
And 50% of the good guys not making it. But in our system, there will be only maybe 5, 6, 10%. And that much error is always possible.
Coming from the Lieutenant General himself, reaching up to that post and having a very thin line between the next post of being the General or the Chief of the Army Staff, I think ये हमारे जो एक understanding है, हमारा पहलू है, इसको not as a safer option of answering, but as a very, very detailed version of what Journal has just brought us, through and made us go through, makes it very clear that there is no single political influence in so-called...
No, nothing. Because the names, all 5 names go. उस टाइम पे जो लोग मेरिट में होते हैं या जिनका सीनियरिटी, और वो सीनियरिटी नंबर पे जाता है, राइट? एंड आई विल प्रेफर,
Yes.
From my side, I will prefer. पहले क्या होता था कि एक लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल बनता था, उसके बाद 2 साल की नौकरी आती थी.
जी.
ठीक है. जब तक उसका नंबर आता था कंसिडरेशन का, या 2 साल या 3 साल रहती, तब तक जो है most of them used to retire only 2-4 बंदा बचा.
So कहीं ना कहीं वहाँ पे टाइमिंग भी प्ले करता
था. Now in our case, when my batch was being considered, almost all of us had 5 years of a service.
left
right?
with you.
So now when this, like General Devendra was to be considered for the chief, right? So he's just about 2 years senior to me. Now, a year and a half or something senior to me. Now, when the holistic batch has to be checked, out of these 9+9, उस टाइम पे जिसकी सर्विस 2 साल बची होगी वही आएंगे. तो अब 3 लोग थे या 4 लोग थे तो वही नाम ऊपर जाएगा. So I don't think the government of India has said कि number 1 के बदले में number 2 कर दूंगा. So they have followed, and mind you, a lot of people have said that this government takes political decisions, right? But they have not taken. But there have been instances, and for that they have to actually put everything on paper. File पे ऐसे नहीं होता है. अगर political decision takes a call, there are number of reports which are put forward to them. There is an IB report, there are intelligence reports. There are so many things which come up at that point of time. When they take a decision otherwise, they have to actually be very, very careful.
Because this pyramid is so steep and so at the so fag end of the top echelons, it can get really dicey and it can have representations from the other side of the fence.
And so nobody actually, देखो सब लोग कहानी बहुत बनाते हैं
जी,
जो जिसको रिप्रेजेंट करना चाहिए वो रिप्रेजेंट नहीं करता
जी.
So possibly he also knows that maybe somewhere.
So कहीं ना कहीं हमारी understanding with regard to so-called the pyramid structure and getting on the echelons of the senior management or the senior ranks of the armed forces, something coming truly from the heart as well as with the facts from the journal himself, makes it pretty clear that the chief of the army staff is purely non-biased and is purely on the basis of merit and other operational
Let me ask you a question, counter question.
Roger, sir. Please go
there
ahead,
is your very, very close relative from your own village.
Ji, sir.
He comes to you to get selected for a job as a sailor in Navy.
Ji, sir.
Tell me, can you influence it?
There was a time when we could have done that, sir, but not in this present scenario. Nobody wants to get into that dirty thing.
It's not the question of dirty. Today, I want to get anybody into a job in Indian Army. It's impossible for me to get a tick done because, and a lot of people call me from my village, from my environment.
Sir, भर्ती करा दीजिएगा.
हाँ, भर्ती करा दी. तो उसको जवाब मैं सिर्फ इतना देता हूँ, अगर मैं भर्ती करा सकता तो सारी फौज
मेरे रिश्तेदारों की होती.
नहीं, मोदी के गांव की होती
जी.
जो बच गए होते वो अमित शाह की होती, जो और थोड़े बच जाते वो राजनाथ के होते. Right? If that is how it has to go, it is not possible. This is not like any other government service where you can do something, and there are video recordings, there are people who check, still there will be flaws, right? But nobody from the top can say कि आप इसका ऐसे काम कर दीजिए. बहुत मुश्किल है.
Let's cut the rhetoric, sir. If we have to enter a full-fledged war with Pakistan today, and let's say just for 10 bare minimum days, can we sustain that dominance over Pakistan with our present artillery and present scenario of our armed forces?
10 years back or 15 years back, I would have said a full-fledged war. Now there are two parameters, right? One is, look, how much we have, and then how much Pakistan has.
And for the time being, we'll just forget about how much is Pakistan being sponsored from its backside. We're just talking and comparing between Pakistan and India.
So let's say he's got X and India has got Y.
Ji.
Even 10 years back or 20 years back,
so
India has got a kitty which is about twice the size in terms of logistics, ammunition, operational stuff, whatever is required for war fight. War fighting is not only bare numbers. कि उसके पास 10 शिप हैं और आपके पास 10 शिप हैं.
बट यही आंकड़ों की बातें होती हैं जब ऐसा डिस्कशन आता है, मीडिया में आता है,
वो गलत है.
जब भी कोई छोटा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होता है, ऑपरेशन सिंदूर आता है,
क्या हो जाता है, ये क्वालिटी ऑफ शिप्स और ये क्वालिटी ऑफ शिप्स. इस शिप को चलाने के लिए पीछे क्या एक्सपीरियंस है जो लोग उसको मैन कर रहे हैं, लाइक सोल्जर्स, ऑफिसर्स हु आर मैनिंग, व्हाट एक्सपीरियंस दे हैव, व्हाट कमिटमेंट दे हैव. फिर इसके साथ में एक होता है इसके पास कितना तेल है, कितना एमिनिशन है. फिर इसके साथ में ये होता है कि इसको रिचार्ज करने के लिए इसकी कैपेसिटी क्या है, राइट? सो अगर आप दोनों चीजों में, इन सभी आंकड़ों में जो मैंने आपको बताया, आई हैव टोल्ड यू ऑल द थिंग्स about logistics, about capacity to
and the man behind the machine,
the men, soldiers, officers, the experience, their loyalty, their patriotism. वो धर्म के नाम पर अपने देश को कितनी भी लड़ा लें, बट धर्म की एक सीमा होती है,
जी,
right? So they cannot, they don't have a loyalty to Pakistan. They have to decide they have a loyalty to Pakistan or Islam.
Correct.
Right? They have neither. And here there is something very unique. We have got loyalty to each other, to our flag, to our, this thing. So, we will beat Pakistan at any point. The only thing is, it all depends upon the escalation ladder, how much you unleash. So when you're talking of full-fledged war, I can only confidently tell you that they can't sustain 10 days.
Let's make it even more harder, sir, for you. If on the other side it is not Pakistan and it is China, can we have dominance for 10 days with China without getting into something very dangerous situation?
No, देखो 10 days की war की बात अगर आप कह रहे हैं, right? You're talking of war or some conflict or whatever in 10 days time.
Let's take it a scenario when it is a full-fledged war.
Yeah, so in a full-fledged war, please understand that the Chinese capacity to wage war in terms of economics may be there, but the challenges of Himalayan borders, a lot of people talk of non-contact warfare, they talk of missile warfare, they talk of rocket force and everything. I can put my experience onto the table to say that they may just be able to have a parity in terms of contestations. Right? Today, Indian armed forces will not cede ground. They have got capacity to take ground. Right? And
if I can interject you there, sir, doesn't it fall in place that our armor and our artillery, its origin falls back to 1990s?
No.
To some extent?
No, it's changed.
What about our tanks, sir?
Look, where are you going to, again, tank warfare is with Pakistan. Technically, when you're looking at a maneuver warfare or tank warfare...
but there is eastern sector, sir. Even for
whichever
China.
sector, again, I don't want to be assertive in my this thing. I just want to argue a case with you. And this is what I have taught people. In case of China,
sir,
their build-up is easy because of flattish nature of Tibetan plateau.
True.
Fair enough. So they can get, let's say, 20,000 tanks. But when now they have to negotiate and start crossing line of actual control, right? That is the way the tanks will fail. There are segments. I'm not saying they cross. So now in segments like Eastern Ladakh, even in Eastern Ladakh, when you look at the entire frontage, it is not everywhere the tanks can be applied. So when you climb a tank, right, there's a thing called assaultable and tankable. तो आप जीप से जिप्सी से गाड़ी से रोड चले जाएंगे सर देखो वहां गाड़ी जाती है
जी
बट व्हेन यू कैरिंग अ फाइट देन यू डोंट पुट वन व्हीकल आफ्टर वन यू नीड टू डिप्लॉय operationally you have to fan out in a tactical formations to defeat the enemy. You have to ensure that the full might of your firepower is either applied or you maneuver it out of a place to remove. So it is not one-on-one. And that is the time when you start coming closer to our territory, wherever we are deployed, you find that the Chinese will have difficulty to maneuver around because eventually when the flanks close in the valleys, if you recall, when you hold a pass with just mere 10 men, you will disallow thousands of them to come inside.
We've seen that in 120 Bahadur, sir, at Kazangla.
Correct.
We have seen that happening in Galwan era.
So can China, to overwhelm, get for each tank 20 tanks, 30 tanks deployed? It's not possible. So terrain, you need to find. And I just gave a talk on fortifying Himalayas to some place. Himalayas, in spite of technology, right? In spite of everything, you can't dominate nature. Now, second, let's talk of Navy.
Okay.
Right. Let's talk of Navy. After all, it's not about land. In case of Navy, they may have 10 times ships than you, right? But you got aircraft carriers. Not only the floating ones, but we have got the one which are on land-based. There are choke points through which they have to come out. There are distances which they have to be managed. You require logistics to sustain. There are enough number of challenges. They are not American military capability today that they will have 10 aircraft carriers from which they are going to carry out operations. Plus, operations, when you're talking of war is not mere exchange of military power or exchange of economic this thing. There are issues about sanctions, issues about isolations.
That's exactly what we're seeing on a very on the global level now.